Assalamu alaikum. I am Sarwar Jamal. Today I will be exploring more about database concepts under the assistance and leadership of our well-esteemed principal, Professor Khalida Parveen. After completing today's lecture, we will be able to learn metadata and different levels of data. You will be able to define and collect real-world data, develop a general understanding about metadata and existence of data. You will be able to understand how to transform real world data into a database and how to populate current database. You will also be able to differentiate various users of database systems and the responsibilities of database administrator. When we discuss data, it is important to distinguish between objects in the real world, the structures of the database, and the data stored in the database. So basically, there are actually three levels of abstractions to be considered when we talk about data. So we can see the first level is the real world data or the reality. When we talk about the real world data, we can see the systems running or existing system in any organization in the real world. And here we can see a lot of entities and people. Here we focus on real world entities like people, procedures, or roles or processes going on in an organization, and all the roles or all the people working in that existing system. That data exists at this level is called real world data. If we talk about students in a college or an educational institution, then all the data belongs to students, like their name, roll number, class, section, course number, enrollment number, and all these information, all these piece of data, the data set, that is the real world entity. If we talk about patients data in an in a hospital, then we can see the patient ID, patient name, patient disease, date of appointment, and all these information is considered as the real world data. Similarly, when we talk about employees working in any organization, then we can see employee ID, employee name, employee department number, employee salary, designation, all these datasets are the real world data. Then we talk about metadata. As we can say, metadata means data about data or all the characteristics of the data, the properties, what will be the rules, and what will be the constraints which will be defined by the database administrators, database application developers, and the programmers. So here we can see which type of record the field will contain, what will be the data item type or its data type. So that's all about metadata. And when we say data occurrences or existence, then we collect the real world data in any organization, and we mention the structure or we define the structure of database, or apply different constraints, the rules, the set of procedures of any organizational domain. Then after performing all these operations, now at this stage the data is, you can say, ready or prepared for population, for being populated in the database, or it is ready to feed into the database. We will explore more about metadata, that is data about data. Here we will see the characteristics or the attributes or the properties of any real world entity. Now the entity may be any concept, it may be any physical entity, it may be any student, say class, and patients, doctors, employees, any product, any item. So it may be entity. So we can see, as we have different attributes or characteristics or properties of that entity or that object. So we can see roll number, name, address, email, phone number. As we can see, all these fields or attributes or characteristics are representing an entity, that is student. So let's take the first field, roll number. Its data type is integer, right? So we can say there is a field, there will be a field in a relation. By means relation, I am defining a table. It means whenever we talk about a relationship, then you have to put a two-dimensional table in your mind, right? So let's take an example, roll number, and its data type is integer. Let's take second field, that is name. Its data type will be alphabet. And the third one, address, it is alphanumeric. So we have length, we can mention the length, we can define the length, and we can give some description, and we can apply the rules or the constraints which we were talking about. So the roll number cannot be left blank. This field cannot be left blank. So this is a check or a constraint. The values should be from 1 to 1000 and cannot contain the null value. Similarly, there is one more constraint on another field, that is email. It contains @ and dot. Now here we can see and explore more about the different levels of data. In this pictorial representation, we can see different organizational staff working together. All these are the employees working on computers. Some of them are database application developers, or some of them are end users. So let's take any employee, its name, age, qualification, salary, and phone number. All these are the real world data, as this data is stored in almost all organizations about their employees. Now, if we talk about name, age, and salary, and we mention that name data type should be text, the age data type should be number or numeric, or salary data type should be number or numeric, then this piece of information is the metadata. And this is the real world data. This is an example of metadata. And this information, text, number, all these information about these specific fields, these specific attributes will be stored in a proper structure in another table, that is the metadata. And we can see the table name, age, and salary, and we have entered the data. So these are the real world data, name, age, and salary. That is the, we can see that is the metadata. And when after applying all these data types and some constraints on the real world data, now the data is ready to be entered or to be fed into the database. Now you can populate this data into the database, or you can transform this real world data after applying a set of procedures and rules and constraints, and you can define a proper structure of the data in the metadata, and then afterwards you can bring the external data, which is the real world data. You can bring that data into the database. That is what we call the transformation of real world data into database systems, existing database systems, population, or transformation of real world data into database systems. Now, we will talk more about users of database systems. Yes, there are different users of database systems, as we can see: end users, the naive users, and the sophisticated users. So end users are those people who are working on existing database. The database is designed, created, and maintained to serve the information needs of the end users who use the data to perform their jobs. And if we talk about the naive users access data through application programs that have been written for them. They invoke the programs by entering simple commands or choosing options from a menu. They don't know anything much more about the database systems. The sophisticated users are also called casual users, and they are trained in the use of online query language and access data by entering queries at terminals. The flexibility of the query language allows them to perform many different operations on the database. So there is a clear distinction or difference between sophisticated users and the naive users. That sophisticated users have the capability or they have the option to apply query, but they are trained to query online, but the naive users have cannot avail this option. Then we have the database administrator or the database programmer. This class of database users is the most technical class of database users. They need to have the knowledge of how to design and manage the database use as well as to manage the data in the database. The DB is a very responsible position in any organization. He is responsible for proper working of the database and DBMS. And the DBMS has the responsibility of making proper database backups and make necessary actions for recovery, and in case of database crash, it is the full responsibility of the DBA to recover the database. Then we have the application programmers. Now, the application programmer, very important role. The this group includes programmers who write batch or online applications for other users. Their application programs may be written in a variety of host programming languages such as C, C Sharp, Java, Oracle, PHP, or any programming language. Each program that accesses the database contains a statement that call the database management system to perform update or retrieval operations on the database. And all these people need a lot of experience and they use variety of software tools to develop the database applications, as we can see. Now we will be discussing about the responsibilities of a database administrator. A database administrator has some very precisely defined duties which needs to be performed by the database administrator. It includes schema definitions and granting access and routine maintenance, which includes backups and monitoring disk spaces, monitoring jobs running. So let's talk about schema design. The database administrator in some organization is responsible for designing the database schema. It means database is the person who will create all the metadata information for the organization on which database is based. However, in some very large scale organizations, some database designers do perform with database administrator. Then we have granting access to users. The database administrator is also responsible for grant of access rights to the database users. So let's say if there are 100 of users, so all of their grant will be given by the database administrators. Along with granting and revoking or taking back the rights, the DBA continuously monitors and ensures the legal use of these rights. So this is also very important activity or very important responsibility of the database administrator, that monitoring this space, When a new database is created, it takes a limited space as it is not populated. The simple reason is that. But as a result of daily activity, the database acquires more data and grows in size very rapidly by time. The database administrator has to monitor the disk space usage and statistics to ensure that no data overflow occurs at any stage. Then we have monitoring running jobs. Okay, to ensure the secure and proper functioning of the database systems, a database administrator continuously monitors some associated activities and also ensure that all users are using their authorities legally and different devices attached to the database systems are functioning properly. Okay, students, we stop here. Inshallah, I'll come up with more important concepts of database management systems. Thank you.